All right, it's still Thursday, and these are the outer ones with the clips are the needles that came out of the bike, and the center two are the needles that just arrived, and they are all identical. They are all. Let's see if I can focus on this thing, so I can show you. One, two, three, four rings up at the top. And four rings up at the top. So they're identical. So I'll put the new ones in anyway. So now I have Norton needle jet needles in stock. It's 9 o'clock in the morning on a Friday. Just got here back from coffee at Steve's house with Kevin. Kevin and I and Steve have coffee on Friday mornings. And we sit there and we discuss the world's problems and basically solve them all. All right, that's where this goes. Laying parts out on the bench like this helps you do what I just did. I had this leftover little nut here and said, I know it goes somewhere. Well, this is where it goes. So put that up there with that seat mount. Having things laid out nicely, you can see at a glance if you've misplaced something or if something's weird. All right, two new needles identical to the ones that were in there. So that the needles weren't the problem with the bike idling improperly. Two new to us float bowls with the Pilot Jet tunnel, shall we say, nicely cleaned all the way down on both sides. These could have been the problem. I don't remember specifically, but I think that 3 were clear and 1 was partially clogged. So anyway, they'll go on. We have the new style stay up floats. We have the new style aluminum rubber tipped gas needles. We're going to put all this together, and I think that's going to solve 90% of the problems. I don't think that the over drill on the gas needle seat was a problem. I think it was probably sealing okay, probably, but now it's back to stock and we don't have to worry about it, whether or not it was involved. Over here on the bike, the part of the problem was that the throttle cables were adjusted to different lengths because they were not properly seated in the splitter up here. These splitters are a pain in the tush, and I much prefer to have 2 individual cables coming out of the throttle than 1 cable with a splitter. Splitters are a pain. You will quite often pull a splitter out and find out that one of the cables is like this, out, completely out. And you're still down here adjusting, trying to get it to run, and the splitter's out. So these have to be firmly, see how it doesn't want to go in? Firmly in, like that, all the way. And then the adjustment here has to be just a little bit slack up on the throttle to the splitter, just a little bit of slack. And you can see that right there. Actually, that's a little tight. I'm going to see if I can give it a little bit more slack all the way down to the splitter. Out of the splitter, the cables have to be adjusted so that it's firm, but just about 1/8 of an inch slack at the end when these are installed. Okay, now I'm going to put the needles in these slides, the slides in the carbs, and then we'll talk about adjusting all of this so that you have what we love to refer to as good snap. Okay, that's where we are. All right, let's install this needle, the new needle, into this carb over here, carb slide. What I like to do is make darn sure that the needle rotates smoothly in the clip and doesn't get cockeyed. So just do this, make sure it's smooth, and it is smooth, okay? That's nice. We always start with the needle, the clip in the center position. Usually, in my humble opinion, you only fool with the position of the needle if you have a very specific symptom that you want to try raising or lowering the needle to fix. And if it doesn't fix, put it back to the center, okay? Very seldom ever need to do this. High performance guys, you guys go out and carve corners and just race like it's 1970. You can adjust all kinds of stuff. But for a stock bike, Sunday morning, go to breakfast, ride around town, go to bike shows, leave things stock. Okay, that's just my humble opinion on a guy who built this bike, which will go out and carve corners and mountain roads with just about anybody. I mean, this is one bad Norton, okay? So this is the advice I'm giving to all the people who want to do what I already did. Don't do it. So let's go back to putting these on. Now, a couple of minor tricks. Okay, can you see? Again, you got a good view. First of all, to put these needles in, I'm going to put this in my mouth. And now I can't talk. Okay, take the spring, pull it out all the way, put it over the edge of the slide like this. So it's completely out and it's been bent over, and now you can drop the needle in like so, okay? Now that's step first. Make sure it straddles the cable. Now we need to drop this spring in gently. Don't just drop it in there, because sometimes it'll land on the needle and push it down, and sometimes push it completely out of the clip. So let the spring down gently, guys, you know, so it goes down gently around it and holds it in like it's supposed to. Then make sure that the needle has wiggle and rotate, okay? You want it to have wiggle. Okay, now just for grins, I'm going to put the choke in. I'm going to pull the choke all the way. It is pulled all the way out. Okay, now we get to drop this in, and this is where I decide, do I want the choke in or out? Nortons are fun. You've got to clear this frame to get this in, and you got to do it gently, okay? Gently, gently, gently. Everybody gently. Right. Okay, I'm going to release this. There, okay, now let's see if it drops in gently, gently with no conflict. Okay, and now it slides down. And now we can put the cap screws on. All right, and the needle is down here, and you can feel it, nice and loose. I'll get a close-up for you. See the needle down there? Nice and loose, no conflict, flopping around very nicely, okay? Went in easy because there's no main jet in place. Well, c'est la vie. Okay, so let's go over and do the other side. More clearance over here. Clearance. So maybe this will be easier. Okay, new needle. Pull the spring out. Put it over the edge so it's locked like so. Drop it in gently so that it straddles the cable. And then drop the spring in gently. Gently. Okay. Needle's loose, needle rotates. Choke in the slot if you have a choke. And let's see if we can get this one to drop in nicely. and there it goes, drop in very nice. So it's dropped in all the way. Here's the needle down here, nice and loose. Don't know if you can see that or not, but it is down there and it is nice and loose. Okay, let's put the top screws in, and we'll put the main jets in and finish the carbs, okay? I'll stop this for a moment. Top screws are boring. Okay, I did the left top, carb top. I'm going to do the right carb top now because it is a little bit more difficult than the other side because the engine is offset to the left. Okay, now here's where the fun comes in. First of all, I'm going to show you something that I talked about a minute ago. If you will look at the splitter, look at the splitter right there. All by itself, naturally, it just wants to be one cable out. So when you're doing this, I mean, first thing you got to make sure is that the cables are in the splitter properly. Don't tie them, don't tie them in, don't hook them in, don't do anything weird. But look at the difference here in that. Okay, it's just weird. Now let's, this one over here. See that? That's a good pull. And that's a good amount of play right there, okay? Let's go over to this side. And it's tighter than a drum because the cable's not in the splitter properly. Okay? So let's go back over here and start by making sure that the cable's all the way in the splitter properly, and then we'll see if there's any adjusting that needs to be done. There. There's a lot of play there. Why? This is just unusual. This is very strange. I'm wondering about the length of these cables, if they're the same. Which means taking the carburetor apart to double check it. Okay, now things just suddenly fell into place. And now both of these are very similar. Now I'm going to take the adjuster out completely. So there should be some, see that? Can you see what I'm doing there? Can you see what I see? See that play? That's about what you need on the Gazinta side into the splitter. Coming out of it, you want about the same amount. And what I'm going to do is take the adjusters, let's get over here, completely out of the equation. Your idle adjuster, take it completely out of the equation. Way out here. So it's not anywhere near the slide. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So it's way out. Completely. It's not anywhere near the slide. Morning, Tom. Morning. Okay, now what you want to do now is check snap. Okay? Good snap. Now what you want to do is move this adjuster in with your finger underneath of it. Let me zoom out. What the problem here is with this 75 air cleaner, you can't get your finger in here to, well, I can't comfortably get my finger in there to touch the slide and hold on to it. So what you can do is turn the adjuster in while doing the snap. Like that. You watching? Okay. I don't feel it. I've got my finger very lightly on the bottom of the screwdriver. Oh, now right there, I can feel it hitting. I can feel the slide hitting the screwdriver. So if I turn it out, half a turn, definitely not hitting there. There, it's hitting right now. Just hitting, just barely. Okay, so that's just barely. Right there, not hitting. Okay, now at this point I'm gonna go 1/2, 1, 1.5. And that's my starting point with the idle screw. Let's go to the other side. Okay, I can't get it to zoom. I love this camera. Sometimes it'll zoom, sometimes it won't. Depends on what mood it's in.
Don't interrupt you. You filming?
Hang on, we'll be right back. All right, I've got the complete cable assembly out, laying on the bench, and they are identical length. These secondary cables are identical length. I have seen them come off of bikes with different length cables and different length inners, but basically these are just fine. And the cable that goes up to the throttle is just fine, and just fine. I'm going to put them back on. I am going to route this cable differently. It was going around the fork. I'm going to put it behind the fork to give us a little bit more slack from front to back, and maybe take some of the strain off of these. But taking this off wasn't a waste of time. You gotta know if everything's right. When things just don't go right, you've got to make sure that something isn't wrong. And it's just what is. It's just time you got to spend. So I'm going to put this back on the bike now and see how it goes. Now, while I have it here on the bench, I'm going to go ahead and put a little lightweight oil down the cables. All right. I'm not going to bore you with putting them back together. All right, I don't want to tell you how much time I spent on this, but I finally have a good pull. Good snap, great snap. Listen to that. Good synchronized snap. And up here at the splitter, no movement. And we've got play up here at the throttle. And we have play down here, which I'm not going to show you because these things are sticky. But basically, I think we got good synchronized carburetors now. So I'm going to put this thing up higher in the air and put the bowls on. All right, we're getting there. Okay, the carbs are on, the bowls are on. I could put the fuel lines on, but I'm not going to right now because I have to do the second most hated job in the Norton world now. First, I think, first most hated job in the Norton world is isoelastics. I mean, that's a tough job, but going into it, you know it's a tough job. You lay out about 10 hours because you know it's going to be a tough job. Everything has to come off the bike in order to get the isoelastics upgraded to 75 mod and get rid of the shims and put all the new rubbers in, and I don't know what all. Everything has to come off. So that's a tough job, and that's number one. Number two is putting these freaking bellows right here between the carb and this 1975 air intake. It is the most difficult job. I'm going to lay out about, I give myself about 5 hours to get these two on. Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's just horrible. And they have to go on with these cut edges facing each other. And they have to go on with this end inside the air cleaner, this side on the carb, and it's a horrible job. So just for grins, it's 11:30 in the morning. Yeah. And I'm going to start putting these things on. I'm going to warm them up. I'm going to put lubricant on them, not oil. I'm going to use good old mother's milk, Armor All protectant. And I'm going to slide them in, and I'm going to use language that my mama would slap me into next week for. So here we go. Okay, it's a few minutes past 12, and you might think that just 15 minutes or so has gone by, but actually it's 12 hours later. This is the middle of the night. It's taken me 12 hours to put these on. Ignore all that, what appears to be sunlight. That's really dark. We've just put in the dark to light filter, and so I just spent 12 hours putting these on. But they're on, and what a job, what a job, what a job. All right, yeah, and I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Okay, so they're in place. I'm going to put the tank on now and run the gas lines. All right, it started right up. I set the pilot jet adjustment, idle jet, and I've set the idle. And it sounds good. Yeah, it sounds good. I'm happy with this. Now, the one thing okay, the one thing that, let me turn this fan off. All right, the one thing that's outstanding, pending, shall we say, is client said he adjusted the timing. And so I could go ahead and strobe it myself. I just I just don't feel like doing it by myself. It's easier with two guys. So I will invite Kevin down tomorrow, and we will strobe set the timing. And I'll go ahead and dress it out right now. The side covers and seat, and then Kevin and I will do the timing tomorrow, and let the bike go. So sounds really good. I'm happy. And check out this new Amazon truck. That's got to be all electric. That is so nice looking. My goodness. Amazon. Christmas in August. Anyway, isn't that neat?